So today's math lesson we're going to do on picture graphs, and our last lesson was just on bar graphs, so this one shouldn't be too hard to do. So we're going to start out looking at our data. So let's say we have a vote in the class, and it's on our favorite dessert. So let's say we have people in the class pick ice cream, cake, pie, and cupcakes. So we're going to have those 4 desserts as our class vote. And then we're going to have our key. And our key in our graph is going to be the most important part to look at when we have to answer the questions. So let's say we have a key that each smiley face we're going to draw equals 2 students. So each smiley face is going to equal 2 students. So if we had a vote, we'll say about, let's see, we'll have 5 smiley faces for ice cream. We'll do all the smiley faces first, and then we'll calculate how many students liked each. Now with cupcakes, I'm going to trick you a little bit, and we'll see if you catch on. Okay, so we have our class votes and all the cupcakes. Now remember, a key says that each smiley face equals 2 students. So with ice cream, so each smiley face equals 2 students, so we're going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 10 students in the class chose ice cream as their favorite dessert. For cake, we have 3 smiley faces. So 2, 4, 6. So 6 students liked cake in the class. For pie, we have 2 smiley faces, so that's 2, 4. So 4 students chose pie in the class. Now this one is a little tricky. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 full smiley faces. And in the key it says 1 full smiley face equals 2 students. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. And then we have a half a smiley face. If 2 students equal a full smiley face, then 1 student's going to equal a half a smiley face. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So 9 students chose cupcakes. So we're going to answer some questions based on the data in this graph. How many students chose cupcakes as their favorite dessert? And this question is going to be easy to answer because we already figured it out in our data. Yes.
9.
Good, 9. And don't forget, when you answer the question, you have to write 9 students. You can't forget the students because you might lose points on it. Now, to get that, we were counting by 2s. So here, if the cupcakes were 2s, that would be 2, 4, 6, 8. And then because of the half a smiley face, you add a 1 to the 8, and that equals 9. So that's 9 students. And then we're going to look at another graph with a different type of data on it. Now this one, we're going to look at the number of books students read. So we're going to look at 3 months. We're going to have September, October, and November. And then we're going to have a key again. And the key, we have to remember, is one of the most important parts because it's going to tell us what each is worth. So the key, each book, that's a book symbol, is going to equal 2 students. So we'll have the class do the vote on how many books they read. We're going to have a tricky part in here again. Okay, so each book symbol equals 2 students. So in September, we have 3 full books, and then we have that half symbol sign again. So we're going to count by 2s. That's going to be 2, 4, 6. And then because this is a half, it's only going to equal 1 student because a full book equals 2 students. So 2, 4, 6. The half is going to equal 7 books for September the students read. For October, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's 12 books for the month of September. And the next is November. So we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8. So we have 8 books for the month of November. So we'll look at question number 1. Okay, number 1 is, what does the half book stand for? So if 2 students equals 1 big book, a half a book stands for how many students?
1.
Good. 1 stands for 1 student. Okay, number 2. How many books did the students read in September? And this one should be easy because we already calculated it. Yes.
7.
Good. And don't forget, we have to write 7 books.
7 books.
We can't forget to label everything. So 1 student, 7 books. So when who's ever reading the answer will know what you're talking about. And then for the third question for this one, how many more books did the students read in October than in November? And before we answer this question, I just want to point out, for when the next time we're reading another question, we want to look for hint words. So a hint phrase in this question would be, how many more? So when you see a question like that, and you see how many more, you'll know what to do. So how many more books did the students read in October than in November? So we'll go back to our data and look that we figured it out. In October we have 12 books, and November we have 8 books. So they want to know how many more books did they read in October than in November. So we'll look at October. In October is 12 books. So we're going to take 12 And then in November, it's 8 books. And then we're going to do 8. So if they want to know how many more books that they read in October, are we going to do addition or are we going to do subtraction?
Subtraction.
Good. We're going to do subtraction. So we're going to do 12 minus 8, and that equals 4 books. So they read 4 more books in October than they did in November. And we're going to do one more problem together, step by step, before you go on and do a worksheet by yourself. Now these questions are going to be a little trickier. So let's look at the data if we had a vote on a student's favorite game. Let's say we had a vote on if they liked puzzles, card games, and board games. And of course, we're going to have a key again. When doing the questions, that's going to be the most important part that's going to help you answer it. So let's say each, and we'll use a triangle for this one, each triangle equals 4 students. So we'll say the class voted Okay, so remember, the key has changed. In the first 2 problems we did, the key equaled 2 students. This one equals 4 students now. So we'll look at the puzzles, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 triangles. So if each triangle equals 4 students, how many in total do the students vote for puzzles? Yes.
20.
Good, 20, because now we're counting by 4s instead of 2s. And then for card games, here we have that tricky one again. We have 3 full triangles and 1 half a triangle. So if we have 3 full triangles, which equal 4 students, the 3 should be, okay, and then we're going to have the half one, and the half one's only going to equal 2, because if a full triangle equals 4, a half is going to equal 2. And that comes to how many? Yes.
14.
14, good. So 14 students voted for card games. Now for board games, this one will be easy to do when we look at puzzles. So puzzles had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles, which came out to 20 students. Board games has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It only has 1 more full triangle than puzzles do. So if 5 full triangles equals 20 for puzzles, 6 full triangles for board games equals how many?
24.
24, good, because we're just adding 4 students onto 20. And then we'll look at the first question. How many students chose puzzles? And this is easy because we just calculated it, so how many students chose puzzles?
20.
Good, 20. So we write 20 students because we want them to know what we're talking about. For number 2, how many fewer students chose card games than board games. Now, in the last problem we just did, we had that hint phrase. It said how many more. In this one we have now how many fewer students chose card games than board games. So we're going to look at board games. Board games has a total of 24 votes, and card games has a total of 14. So we're going to take the number 24 and 14, and they want to know how many fewer students chose the card games than they did with board games. So we're going to do addition or subtraction. Yes?
Subtraction.
Good. We're going to do subtraction. So 24 minus 14 equals how many students?
10.
Good. 10 students. So that's how many fewer chose card games than board games. Now question number 3. Which 2 types of games did a total of 34 students choose? Now this, we have to go back to the chart where we collected our data from the pictures, and it wants to know which 2 types of games did a total of 34 students choose. So if we look, here we have 20. Which one should we add on? The card games or the board games to equal up to 34? Yes.
The card games.
The card games. So which 2 types did a total of 34 students choose? That would be puzzles.
And card games.
That's right, and card games. Okay. Number 4. How many students were surveyed? So this question is asking you how many students were surveyed. They want to know how many students altogether voted on their favorite card games. So if we look in the question before, puzzles and card games added up to 34. So that's those 2 already, and then we're going to add whatever we're missing. So puzzles and card games were that, and then we're going to add what number to 34?
24.
Good, 24, because that's the board games. And then that is going to equal
58.
Good, 58. So 58 students in total did the survey for their favorite game. Number 5. How many students did not, there's our hint word in this question, did not choose card games? So they want to know who didn't choose card games. So we're going to take our total of 58 students, and then we're going to subtract how many students chose card games, which would be 14. So the answer would be
44.
good. 44 students did not choose card games. Excuse me. Okay, good. And then we're going to work on a worksheet really quick to see how much you learned from going over this and how much on your own you can do. So it's just a quick one. The chart's there. You have to fill in the data. And then we're going to go over it. So this one's on cookie sales. And don't forget to look at the key. It's going to tell you how many each are worth. Alright, and we're going to wrap up and we're going to go over it really quick. It's okay if you didn't finish. Don't worry, we're going to go over it. So the key, if you look at the key, each full smiley face equals 5 boxes of cookie sales. So Isabel, here, it states that she sold 40 boxes of cookies. So if we're counting by fives, how many smiley faces should we have for her?
8.
Good, we should have 8 smiley faces. And then Emma, if she sold 15 boxes of cookies, she should have
3.
3 smiley faces. Sam sold 35 boxes. So she's going to have 1 less than Isabel.
7.
7. And then Grace sold the most boxes. She sold 50. So she's going to have how many boxes?
9. No. 10.
10. She's going to have 10 boxes. Good. Now question number 1 says, how many boxes of cookies did the girls sell in all? So we're going to add up the amount, and it's going to come to
140.
Good. 140 boxes were sold in total out of all 4 of them. And question number 2, it has that phrase again. It's the hint. How many more boxes of cookies did Isabel sell than Emma? So if if Isabel sold 40 boxes and Emma sold 15, how many more boxes did Isabella sell? We're going to do subtraction.
25.
25. Good. 25 boxes.
Boxes.
Number 3, which 2 girls sold a total of 75 boxes of cookies? I know this one's going to be a little hard, so we'll just go over it quick and you can calculate it later. The answer to this one is Isabella, and Sam. Because if we add 40 and 35, it equals 75. And number 4, half of the cookies sold by Grace were Thin Mints. How many boxes of Thin Mints did Grace sell? So if she sold 50 boxes in total, and half of them were Thin Mints, what was the other?
25.
Good, 25. Good. You guys did good with this lesson.